Alright guys, so here's the Holdem Manager 2 general layout. I double clicked this and updated it here to our 800 euro winnings, and this net winnings. Anyways, this is not up to snuff quite yet, but more or less right. If you notice that in your Holdem Manager, some of the tournaments are a bit off, just double click them. You can update what you want, actually what your buy-in was. For example, this is a €0 buy-in. It was a qualifier. Stuff like that. We take down first place of 38 players, which is correct. And yeah, this is the first tourney in our new database. So yeah, that's how that went down. And US dollar equivalent per hour is looking good. And so that was that. And I wanted to look at actually a couple of those heads-up hands. And we did catch some amazing cards there at the end. Anyways, I'll pull up a couple of these hands here in the replay and just see what that looks like, and we'll go through those a bit more in detail since this is a relatively short video at that final table. So again, actually, this is how it went down. We had a total of 38 players here in this free roll tournament. It's a VIP qualifier for February, and yeah, only the top 5 places were paid. As a total 2,000 euro free roll. And we ended up taking up first place against all variants there. I think it was like 5 hands in a row, right? Where we got it in really good and then lost, back to back. I think we had pulled the rabbit out of the hat once, maybe twice in that entire relatively short session. But yeah, that was actually a miracle. Then we ended up taking that down after a couple of those swings. And yeah, it was really epic, concerning variants. I think it's a really good learner, also to show you guys exactly what can happen there in the short term, even within one tournament, right? Again, yeah, we ended up taking this guy down, and we take down the 800 euro prize for first place out of the 38. That's how that looked. And to our tournament calculator, just to show you guys how you can use this in real-time play. She looks like this. If you come down here and you enter, the total field was 38 players in the money. The number of places in the money is 5. They're only paying out 13%. Anywhere between 10 and 15% is quite standard for multi-table tournaments. It's across the board, all platforms, online, offline. You're going to see that a lot. Yeah, good. So we started at 1,500, and with 38 players, that was 57,000 in chips total. And the bubble factor, if we're looking at this as a qualifying tournament, would be at the very beginning of our tournament 1.12. As we got down to the last 7 players, if this is a qualifying tournament, let's say only the top 5 places get a seed, right? Then the bubble factor would be 3 already, with 2 players off the money. And look at 6, already at 5, right? A bubble factor of 5. So that means, yeah, theoretically here it's defaulted up top for the bubble factor. Yeah, if you had a normal 3-to-1 odds call, you're gonna need actually not 1 time in 4. You're not gonna need 25% break-even equity, but actually 62.5% break-even equity to make the same call with that bubble factor. And again, if that's new to you guys, definitely check out the videos we produced in the Essential Poker Knowledge series for tournament play. Now, this wasn't a satellite as such, right? So it's a bit different, but I think given the fact that only the top 5 places were paid, yeah, I mean, maybe it wasn't 5. You'd have to really look at it exactly, but I can't imagine it being much worse than that. You would need almost twice as much equity as you would in a cash game to make the very same call with the same holding against your opponent's estimated ranges, the same estimated ranges in a tournament. So yeah, keep that in mind, guys. Bubble factor is such a crucial concept in tournament play, and if this is new, again, definitely check those videos out before you move forward. In the end, yeah, we had, again, let's back that up. We had, yeah, 38 players there and 57K in total chips in circulation. All right, let's see if that adds up. So this is from the Holdem Manager 2 replayer again that I just installed. If we add that up, we've got 1500 as the blinds here, and again it was a tournament without antes. Let's go ahead and add our stack size at 24,180, and let's add our opponent in heads up stack at 31,320, and we get exactly 5,700. Alright, now let's look at a couple of these hands here in heads up. I believe most of these are going to be a heads up. This is in the new Holdem Manager 2 replayer. I'm not completely familiar with it, so we'll work through it as we can here in real time. Most important when you're in heads up, guys, is to look at the stack distribution, of course. And again, this is going to be a recap from our videos, our essential poker knowledge videos on Texas Hold'em. Definitely check those out for the details on that. But essentially here at blinds of 501K, we're looking at, of course, very simply 24.18 big blinds, and our opponent has 31. So what you're not playing is this guy's stack at this point. You're playing the minimum stack, right? The so-called effective stack in heads up. So whenever you're looking at your Nash charts, your Sklansky-Chubakov charts, you know, your in the money ICM charts, independent chip model charts, stuff like that, you're playing the effective stack size, and very often, depending on the charts, you're playing that then before the blinds are posted. So you'd be looking at the chart level for 25K, depending on, you know, if you should shove or call an all-in shove against you, right? So just keep that in mind as we move forward. And actually, in the tournament calculators that I put together for you guys, I have those. I have a version of those charts readily available for you guys. And I think actually at this point, let me just show you them real quickly, just so you've seen them at least one time. Alright, so this is the tournament calculator here with the different EV and M calculators, pot odds calculators, shove, chip EV calculators, right, that you know from the Essential Poker Knowledge videos, especially on Poker Math. The calculator here for steals and re-steals, bluff success, etc. And to the far left, we've got your holding versus your opponent's assumed ranges, right? Expresses a percentage, and then what that percentage actually equates to then in hands held by your opposition. So your outs calculations, that means making, probability of making on the turn, making on the river, or making either on the turn or the river when you shove on the flop. The Sklansky-Chubakov numbers that I was mentioning to you guys, and then the short stack strategy re-steals table, actually produced by my online mentor, right? Initial online mentor. And that was for the short stack strategy, and he was a short stack monster, right? A short stack pro. You guys know that from the essential videos. I won't go into that. But the Sklansky-Chubakov numbers are very similar to what you're going to find concerning Nash equilibrium chart, stuff like that, from the small blinds. So we were playing at that point 24 big blinds, and right here, an open shove from the small blind, right, with a bubble factor of 1, which is 1, by the way, in heads up in tournaments, even in multi-table tournaments. Once you get to heads up, bubble factor's gone, right? You're playing 1-to-1. So we could have shoved every single time we're in the small with 3s or better, any suited ace-2, right? Basically any suited ace-x hand, ace-4 offsuit or better, king-10 suited or better, or king-jack offsuit or better. And that would have been our entire shove range from the small. When it's folded around to you, either in the small blind, the button, or the cutoff, these are the ranges that you can actually shove. Turn your hand over, show your opponent, right, who's to call you, and still be in a positive expected value situation. It's pretty intense stuff. So that's that. If you guys haven't seen that, definitely check out the videos. In the Essential Poker Knowledge series for that. And what I'd like to show you now then is the Nash charts. Alright, so This is compiled from Holdem resources, and I just made a screenshot of it. It's really, really brilliant. It's basically based on Nash equilibrium and heads-up play. Push or fold, Nash equilibrium, as you guys see here. What you got is down the middle your pairs. Okay. On the top is your suited hands, and on the bottom is your off-suited hands. And that means basically, just a quick example, we had Queen Jack suited, I believe it was, and we could shove up to over 20 big blinds actually, right, from the small blind and heads up, all right, effectively, and be in a positive EV situation. Queen Jack offsuit is underneath, still at 20 plus. Yeah, it's very, very nice. You know, if you're relatively new to heads up play, to have those very exact charts so you can push those, you know that you're mathematically right when you do so. But again, you should adjust a bit if you don't think your opponents understand these numbers, for example. Calling what they should be calling then when you shove into them, right, and they're in the big blind. For example, let's say you shove your Jack Queen suited here up to 20 big blinds plus, and your opponent can call any shove, right, up to 20 big blinds. Let's just call it here. He can call you with the same hand, of course, up to 19. King Jack. He can make some really funky calls if he's like smaller stack like our guy was. He can even call you down with 10 Jack offsuit up to 13 big blinds almost, right? And as he got a little smaller, I think before we got it all in, he was only like around 8, you know, ish. So yeah, 9-10 offsuit he can call with when we shove. He can call probably of course 89 suited at 8, stuff like this, guys. And just look at it a bit, and you'll see exactly how you can, you know, what you can call when you're in the big blind when you know that your opponent is shoving the Nash ranges from the small. Very important information when you're in heads up play, of course. Yeah, in this tournament we didn't really look at it, but that's the long and the short of it. And now I think we should check out just maybe a couple hands, see how these went down here in heads up and what we could have done better, how we could have improved, maybe how we how we got hosed a few times. We'll see. We got a new replay here. We'll just check it out. So again, the effective stack here, he's got 31k, we got 24, 25 before posting, and that's the action. We did catch some pretty strong hands there in the end. We catch aces here, and action starts. He raises up a bit too quick already. He raises up to 2.5 times. It's a good open raise size, guys. 2.5x to 3, yeah, even 2x. You can even make that here up to 3. That gives me then 2-to-1 odds to make that call. And here with my aces, I opt only to flat, right? And I believe we were talking about this a bit. Yeah, in general, you can go ahead and raise those up, but we're so strong that we wanted to suck him in a bit, and yeah, so we flat and then donk. And he, luckily enough for us, raises as a bluff here with his overcards. All right, and you got a lot of options. You know, the pot odds, as you guys see here, I'm getting just under 4-to-1 odds. And yeah, there's different ways you can play this. I mean, you're in a way ahead, way behind situation for sure. That means if this guy's got any pair of 3s or better, excluding the pair of 4s for a flops, again, flop full house, you're of course way ahead, and you're way behind basically any two, guys. And this guy was playing some really wide, nasty shit. And you know, pair of 4s is definitely on his list, but again, we know that it's over 400-to-1 against that he would have that flopped full house. And we know also that it's about 73-to-1 against when you hold any given 2x hand that you're going to flop those trips. So we don't necessarily think he's on a pair of 2s, but we were given his run of cards. We were quite worried about that. So anyways, we flat to suck him in, donk it out to kind of represent it, you know, overpair any kind of bluff, and he bites, which is nice here, right? So he re-raises, and we shove. And I can't believe it, but he actually flats right after that. So you know, because we had that history, because we were playing back and forth at each other a bit, he thought that his ace-jack here might have been good. And yeah, he had 1% equity to the river. And is this one of the hands that actually held? Yeah, okay, good. We actually ended up taking that down, and we'll flop to the next hand. I mean, that was huge right here. Yeah, that was pretty much the turning point, and he's down to 6.6 big blinds right there. And again, this isn't necessarily in chronological order. We'll just kind of pick some of our bigger hands here. And this guy, more or less 3 X's. We re-raise, he flats, board comes, Jack 5 Queen, we make a continuation bet, he shoves. And it's, I mean, it's not necessarily an easy call, actually, guys. Yeah, he pushes here with the mid pair, but if he's got, for example, the 10-9 of diamonds here, he's actually ahead of us on that flop, given his equity. So this is actually a difficult call. Yeah, we flatted here. It's early in the tournament, and we figure, okay, top pair, top kicker. He was, yeah, we had seen a couple of his hands. He was playing a 30-20 PFR split at that point. Yeah, a few hands. He's playing a little bit wilder, and yeah, we yeah, we go ahead and call here early phase, and we could have, you know, it's one of those things, guys. Also, when you're playing, yeah, when you're playing qualifiers and stuff like that, to make these kind of calls, you can double up, be ahead of the curve coming into, yeah, later phase play when you actually take these down, stuff like that. He could have well been on a pair of fives again, 82 diamonds, flush draw, and the opening and straight draw is definitely on the list. King 10, you know, 9-10, flop set of jacks, queens, or fives. It's not a very easy call here, but we do. And again, it's relatively early phase. Big blind was only at 50 here, and we ended up taking that down. All right, now we're back to the action here, and heads up. And he's this guy. I'm showing the cards here just to show you guys what he was playing. Jack 6 offsuit, and he shoves. Right, so he's not. Again, this looks a little bit crazy maybe to some players, but he's not shoving. He's not shoving 44,000 here, right? He's shoving 12.8 thousand. Okay, remember that he's shoving the effective stack size. We happen to wake up with kings, and of course we say thank you very much. And yeah, we must have taken that down. Otherwise, it would have been in the tournament. Right. So just brought that up. So he's not shoving that big stack. So this was too much. Right, again, my stack size is 12 big blinds there, right? And this was far too much. You know, he can take a shot, and again, let's just back that up, because, you know, right here, if he makes a 2x raise, let's say, or 3x raise, he raises it to 3K, right? That's about 1/4 of my stack. And if I don't have shit, you know, I can re-raise this bluff, stuff like that, but I'm certainly not going to be calling. So I think, you know, yeah, with a Jack 6, for example, as a pure bluff, you shouldn't just shove that. You make a, I mean, actually, I think you should fold that. You know, he's got, actually in this case, he's got 4 times my stack. He should just hang out, wait for a decent wave. He had been giving us an entire maniac persona, right? And at this point, if he switches gears, you know, I'm probably going to eat it at one point. And yeah, shoving Jack 6 when you're 4 times the opponent's stack size and heads up with a 300 euro, I mean a huge, relatively huge difference in payout. This is a move that you can definitely avoid. We did wake up with a monster, and we take that down. Let's see. Oh, that's cool. I like the new interface here at Holdem Manager 2. That's nice. Alright, so yet again we get hosed here, and we're at 80s. Right at 9.5. Oh no, at 800. Yeah, just over 10. What will we be? 12-ish, you know. And I can imagine I shoved. Let's see. Yeah. Alright, so I got a decent mid pair here, and that's a monster and heads up. I shovel in. I think the king 4 must have called, otherwise we don't have a showdown yet. Alright. We flop the set, and that's really good. And you guys see here the equity, the respective equity pre and post flop, actually on every single street. So we get in with a pair, and he's got just that one overcard, guys, is worth 30% equity on average, right? And he's suited here. We do have a blocker, but yeah, right at, you know, that one overcard is going to be, he's going to take it down one time in 3, and luckily for us, he does not. You see the swing here when he misses that king or the 4, and no real flush draw. He's got a backdoor deal going on, and there comes the king, but yeah, we're done. Alright, and then we get back to about half of his effective stack, and we play on. He shoves. We got 12 big blinds total. King 10 of clubs, right? So basically you're suited Broadway at 12 big blinds pre-post, according to Mr. Nash. Looks wrong to you. This. Alright, we got the king 10 suited, and we can call that even up to 20 big blinds, guys, when he shoves into us. So up to 12, let's have a look. We can even call 8 queen suited, for example. We could call the old 9 jack, jackknife suited, stuff like that. That's how you can use this this table. But yeah, king 10, especially given his wild style, was a clear call. And yeah, 12 big blinds there, and we do. And he, of course, hits the queen. And we ended up getting lucky here on the turn, and then take that down. That was one of those I think 5 or 6 hands where, you know, we're ahead again, you know, with our 1 king. Basically it's a laced hand, right? We have the same suit. We're probably, I guess, 60%. Let's see. Yeah, 65% ahead equity wise pre-flop. And yeah, when the flop comes, you know, we lose so much equity. Look at that, right? We still got, you know, we got an open-end straight draw, so that helps us out a lot, and the backdoor flush draw, and of course any king is still good. And yeah, so we dropped to only 44%, which was lucky for us because we wrapped around that flop pretty well. There comes a king, and all of a sudden the equity swing is huge, and we take it down. All right, and here we are, 5-handed, blinds at 200. He limps. I limp. And the Jimmels only flats. And we get in here. Look at this, guys. This is, you know, opening a straight draw here on a rainbow board. He's still got 36% equity. We flop top pair, jack kicker. He bets it, and we bring it. And he actually calls us down with his straight draw. And again, luckily he missed, guys. These are, you know, you're seeing this 30%, 40% of our opponents. At 30%, guys, they're going to take it down one time in 3. At 40%, they're going to take it down 2 times in 5. You know, when you're flipping, it's 1 and 1, and you do that then compounded, right? Hand after hand after hand, and you're starting to understand then why multi-table tournaments have such huge variance. And yeah, anyways, yeah, we pick up here the jack, and he's still looking good because he picked up the flush draw, right? And we take it down there, luckily enough. 5-handed, knocking another guy out of the tournament. Alright, again here, heads up versus Ray Hey, and he comes at it pretty actually too wild. It was a bit too uncontrolled, this guy's play, quite honestly. And there are a couple spots that he should have definitely played differently, but we raise this up, of course, with Ace X, Ace Broadway here offsuit, and he comes over the top as a shove. Alright, our pot odds, I mean, we need 43% equity, as you guys see here, to make that call and break even in the long run. And with the Ace 10, I mean, yeah, the thing is, when you get in a maniac that's pushing like that, and re-raising and stuff like this, you never really know. But at the same time, I know he's going to be pushing, I mean, I don't know, but very often he's going to be pushing a lot of weaker aces. It means all Ace 2 to Ace 9 hands. He'll probably be re-stealing with King, Queen, Jack 10, whatever hands. He'll probably be re-stealing a lot of suited queens, suited jacks, stuff like that, and pretty much any pair. And we're at 45% more or less against all pairs underneath a 10. Right, and we're beating all those other aces, we're beating all those kings, all those queens, stuff like that. So again, we raise and he shoves, and given this player, I opt for the ace-10 call here. Again, yeah, it's not always going to work out, but that's the explanation. I mean, we're just ahead of so much, and this guy was pretty wild. So we get it in yet again. Look here, at 60% ahead, right? Let's see what happens. All right, so we flop the ace, 82% equity here on the flop. 4, brilliant, and we got the nut flush draw to boot, right? So we're at 91% right here. Boom, 9. What's that called? Yes, variance. And of course we get hosed in the river. And look at this pot, guys. It's 44,000, and that would have been the end of his tournament. And again, we get it in at 63% ahead, and end up losing it on the river with one of those few outs that actually hit. He takes down 44,000, and we're stuck yet again in the soup here at 13K. That's variance, guys. Ace Queen versus a King 10, blinds of 4 and 800, and the King 10 raises it up. It's a good raise size, like it, no problem. We re-raise, of course, with our Ace Queen, and he decides to shove it, and we, knowing this guy, we say, okay, our Ace Queen is also good. And we of course call, and here we go, and one holds. Okay, very good, and we take down the 47. All of a sudden, yeah, tide's turn yet again. I think this went back and forth so many times. Again, look here, guys, 56% laced, 1 over card. Let's see what happens. I shove, he flats with the small stack, and I think this is probably, was this not the last time? 6. Oh no, this is okay. This is probably the one that I thought that we had taken down and did not. He hit the inside straight draw here on the turn, and I guess it must have held. Yeah. That's too sick. So he takes another one down. He's at 13K yet again, and we keep battling on. I shove the 10 jack here, 3-handed. But again, pre-flop, we're ahead of this guy when we're suited, just so you guys know. So it was actually a good push. The pre-flop, we were good. I raise it up again 2.5 times. This is a standard raise at this point. Queen shove, really good shove, guys. Really good shove, like that a lot. And we flat with our Ace King here. We've got him covered, and we can still play on with the 8,400. That's the idea. And yeah, and we've also got a strong hand. He'll probably be reshoving also Ace Queen Jack, stuff like that. Weaker pairs, and yeah, there's a lot of dead money here. Let's look at it exactly. I only need 36% to make that call break even. I've got the 43. I do so, and we end up hitting. And again, this is an example of the kind of calls you can make when you've got guys covered, right? And that's also an example of why you should always keep that in mind. Your relative stack size in relation to your opponent's your opponent's stacks, and actively, as often as you can, putting the final question to them, putting their entire tournament on the line. That's kind of the basic principle here, especially final table action, final table principles. So when I make this call, I need 36%, just under 2-to-1 odds. I'm getting, and yeah, make that call with my Ace King, end up hitting. Alright, back to the heads up action. Here we're up, and he raises the suited Queen 3, and we flat. Alright, with the relatively strong hand. And here again, guys, with the King Queen suited, you can also just raise that up. But again, I think I'd even mentioned it also in real-time play. We're behind every ace, every pair. Yeah, that's pretty much it actually. But again, that's, yeah, given the shit that had happened, I wasn't feeling it. And again, guys, even if you're playing a mathematical game, definitely listen to your gut. All right, listen to your gut. So here we go. We flop top pair and the second nut flush draw. And even when he flops 2 pair, you can see the Queen 3, right? It's 49-to-1 against, by the way. When you hold any non-paired hand, you flop 2 pair, it's 49-to-1 against. And even though he has top pair and the bottom pair here, for 2 flopped, he's behind us equity-wise. All right, so we're actually ahead of this guy, you know, 8% ahead of him right now, just on our draw here to the second nut flush draw, in this case the nut flush draw, knowing his holding. And yeah, we're just sitting really pretty, and against his entire range we're just a monster. Let's see how I played this. I end up checking, and he makes a half pot bet to suck it in. That's good. And okay, I check raise. Now with the check raise, if he's got a flop set of 3s, 4s, or for example queen 3, queen 4, definitely on his list, you know, we're in trouble. But we've got such a strong draw. In retrospect here, I actually kind of like the check call line, then check again to let him haul off. Because again, any bear queen, basically any queen non-3 or 4, right, is going to pay us to the river for sure. And if the club happens to come, you know, it's just shit luck. If he happens to be on the queen ace of clubs, it's just so unlikely. It happens, but it's highly unlikely. So again, here you can also check call that, and then check the turn. You can check call that, bet the turn. You can check call that, check raise the turn. A lot of stuff at your disposal here. There's not one way to play that, but I opt for the check raise here on the flop, and I'm sure he comes over the top with 2 pair. No, okay. So here's an example of a maniac slowing down to suck you in. So on the button, he check calls. Yeah, given the example, or given the idea that maybe he's on a flush draw here. I know it's clever. I mean, he made some funky moves. You know, we saw how wild he was playing in 5 and 6 and 4-handed play, but and how lucky he got. But this is actually a good flat, right? This is actually a good flat, because if the club didn't fall, then he can act like he was on a club draw. If the club does fall, he can also bet it. I mean, a lot of stuff here. He's in position. Yeah, I like that flat actually. It's not bad. Instead of re-raising, and I probably I jam. Again here, I've got top pair, right? The top pair king kicker, second nut flush draw, and you know I jam because the pot's more or less. Yeah, I mean it's already bigger than the effective stack size. So any bet's going to commit him, and I opt for the jam right here. But even here, you can also check that. He bets it probably all in, and you flat. And yeah, okay, in this case, he's got 2 pair. You know, we lose some equity because the club didn't hit. But anyways, I mean, this is a really strong hand against his entire range. You don't necessarily have to jam here. But again, any pair of 5s, of course, on open and straight draw all of a sudden. Pair of 7s, pair of 2s, you know, is also on the same inside straight draw. And yeah, who knows? Maybe he's on a funky queen X hand, right? And that, you know, that other card could come. So anyways, I opt for the push here, given his remaining 12. And it's actually I think a really good idea in general. You know, he flopped yet again 2 pair. So what are you gonna do? He flats, and then it goes to his side, and yet again, you know, it's just back and forth here. Alright guys, and finally the hand for all the marbles. Pick up again king, queen, O, and 500, 1,000 blinds. Again, no ante. He's down. The effective stack size before posting is 11 big blinds. And let's have a quick look at Mr. Nash. 11 big blinds here is what I'm pushing. Have another look, guys. If I'm pushing from the small blind, right, from the dealer button into him, I'm not pushing my stack size, rather the effective stack size. And before pushing, we're looking at 11. Yeah, just follow up on how wide you can push according to the Nash equilibrium from the small blind open. We can push up to 11 big blinds here. We can push any king X hand, any ace hand, right? Either suited or non-suited, any king 2 offsuit, and we can push any queen 2 suited, right? Any queen X hand that's suited. We can push any Jackson 4, right? We can probably get away with a 10-4 suited, definitely a 10-5 suited, and yeah, down the line. But I mean, look at this, 10-5 suited as an open push is an effective value, a positive effective value push in heads-up play in tournaments, up to almost 12 big blinds, guys. Almost 12 big blinds. That's enormous. So yeah, pretty. Just wanted to point that out yet again here. You know, we had another final table in our 777 challenge, and I wanted to kind of hit this, hit on this point a couple times, different angles, couple replays, stuff like that, to kind of get you guys thinking outside the box and let you know that when you're in heads-up play, even in even much bigger MTTs than this, how wide you can be open shoving and how wide you can also call versus open shoves, given the effect of stack sizes, and yeah, especially when tournaments have faster blind levels than 12 minutes that we were playing here with no antes. So yeah, keep this all in mind, guys, at your next tournament, your next final table, and we'll just play this one out here. I do go ahead and open shove versus his 10 remaining. He decides to call with a Jack-7 of hearts. So Jack-7 suited. Let's see if that was correct according to Uncle Nash. Jack-7 suited up to 9 big blinds, so if he's looking at this table, he should fold that, right? But just barely, just barely. Jack-8 suited would have been right on the line, and let's see here. Yeah, actually Jack-9 is positive EV. Jack-8's real close, but the Jack-7 suit is theoretically a fold here, according to the Nash. But it was, again, right on the line. But yeah, this guy was, yeah, I don't think he really understood the fact that he's behind every queen, king, and ace, behind every pair, stuff like that. I mean, we saw how he was playing. So yeah, he saw 2 suited cards and said, sweet, 8 flats. And you guys, again, pre-flop, we get yet again over 60% ahead. Here comes the flop. And our equity increases just a tick, because neither of us hit, actually. And the thing is here, any 7 still plays, right? Any Jack still plays. So, you know, pre-flop, when you get 2 overcards versus 2 undercards, you're more or less 60% ahead of the guy. He's suited, so it's a bit less, but whatever. Yeah, so anyways, he's still got all 7s, all Jacks. He's still got the running 43. He's got the running 89. Stuff like this. Yeah, so yeah, 31% when you add it all up is his equity here on that flop, even though he missed. So 1 time in 3 on the flop, he's also going to take it down. There's a turn, and the value doesn't change because he picks up his open end straight draw, plus every 7 plus every Jack, because I still haven't hit yet, right? I mean, I'm ahead of the guy, but I don't have necessarily a made hand here. If I had a pair of queens or kings, it'd be a different scenario, but even here, you know, he's got his open end straight draw. Every Jack, every 7 still play. And there's a river. And that was all she wrote, guys. We take down the 5700 that we had shown you guys in the calculator, and that was all she wrote. Yeah, we take down the 57K and 800 euros for our small stakes challenge here, the 777 challenge that we've been playing over the past couple of months. Not regularly, guys. I apologize for that. Just simply haven't had the time. But yeah, this is gonna help us definitely along, and we will continue from here. Probably still at the NL20 and NL50 level. Gonna switch sides here relatively soon, and yeah, probably start another our new bonus and rakeback program, and we'll take it from there. More than likely, we'll be moving to HeavenBet and or mybet.com. So until then, I hope this was definitely useful for your game, guys. Get you thinking about different ways you can play your final tables, especially how much you should adjust when you're playing in heads up. And yeah, definitely, I'm very happy that I was able to show you guys these Nash tables, Sklansky, Chubikov numbers, stuff like that. Also, of course, our equity and EV calculators that you guys should definitely check out at your leisure. Play with that a bit, see how that works out. And yeah, do a lot of work, do a lot of study away from the table, so that you're ready yeah, to play optimally when you actually do get this deep at your next multi-table tournament. Again, guys, this is Dylan for winnerintheweek.com. Wishing you all the best, both on and off the felt. Till then.